The idea behind the Think Big Narrative community is built upon the notion that who controls the narrative controls the power. And when we think about today's political landscape, we think about the role that narrative and messaging plays in how we perceive challenges and solutions.
You're learning these processes so that ultimately we're shifting power. And everything that we do, everything as we move forward, is going to be about thinking of ways to move us in that direction of action strategies, in this case, narrative stories, how we shape them, how we tell them, how we frame them, that moves us toward where we want to be.
We didn't all just get here. We all exist in the context of everything that came before us, the work of everybody who came before us. We stand on the shoulders of giants, and part of our role, as people is to create progress that future generations can build on.
And then that leads us to the North Star, building ideological power. At the end of the day, what type of ideological power, aka public perception, public opinion, are we shifting and shaping?
We're excited to be here. We see this as an opportunity to help empower and equip and train people to advocate for themselves, for their communities.
The overall training operates at the intersection of narrative and messaging, community organizing, and policy. All of these things are connected and support each other. In what ways can we train community members? In what ways can we train each other? Can we learn from each other to really shift the pervasive narratives that are present, in our communities? We're always hearing about what's happening nationally and federally. Don't get me wrong, that's important also. But what is happening right at our kitchen table is a direct impact of local politics.
We have high rates of food insecurity, as you mentioned, high rates of poverty. 1 in 6 Alabamians live in poverty. 1 in 4 Alabama children live in poverty. We have for centuries, we've had an underfunded education system. We have hundreds of thousands of people who are in what we call the health coverage gap. There are racial disparities, there are disparities with LGBTQ folks in pretty much all of these measures. They hit even harder among those communities.
In Alabama, if we really want to make change, and if we want to address the systemic causes of poverty, we cannot do that in this state without addressing public policy. Ingrained in the inequalities and inequities in this state are the laws that hold those things in place. Bringing to bear all of those community voices and actions and strategies, bringing them to bear in a way that we influence the public policies that govern us. All of us have a role to play, and we need each other if we're going to do this.
I felt kind of frustrated in the last couple of years that I can't really affect anything on a more systemic level. I'm I'm not a lawmaker. What can I do? And so whenever I saw this opportunity, I was like, okay, this is something for a more lay person that could get into this and figure out how to affect some change. So that's what really interested me about it.
As a civic engagement coordinator, building that policy tools and then just all that, I think it's a great experience for me.
I'm excited to be involved in the Think Big cohort because I have been wanting to find ways to become more active in my community, find ways to be more engaged, and I have felt that moment of being hopeless, what do I do? How can I help? So when I found out about this, it gave me an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper into how I can affect change as an individual, and then hopefully also on a larger scale in the future.
So what inspired me to sign up for the Think Big cohort is the fact that it kind of advertised the ability to empower us and to teach us principles of advocacy, how to prepare us to take what our cause is and think bigger. What drew me to it was advocacy. Once I saw advocacy, I knew this was the thing for me. What I'm hoping to get out of it is the ability to create successful campaigns, how I can reach more people.
And this river of movement is leading us to a social justice ocean. And what we're doing by engaging in processes like this is becoming one of the creeks and streams that actually feed into the river of movement. that ultimately flows toward the ocean of social justice.